is currently 4:30 in the morning, but it is time to head to Bridal Fashion Week. We have made it to New York. It is officially day one of New York Bridal Fashion Week. I'm just getting ready to head out. Today is the busiest day that we have. Pretty much all of our shows and meetings are today. So we're gonna go back to back. We're seeing Maddie Lane first, and then we'll go to Serene Bridal, and then we'll head over for the water shows, W2 and Willoughby, and then Made with Love later this afternoon. Let's go. So we made our way to One Fine Day Bridal Market, which they always do such a great job setting this bridal market up and the decor and everything. It's in a building right on the water, so we took in the views before heading to our first meeting, grabbed a glass of champagne, mimosas, and a little sweet treat, and then headed to our Maddie Lane show, which was the first one of the day, and then followed by Serene Bridal. So many great gowns in both of these shows. So excited to bring them on. And then took in the view, enjoyed a little mimosa before our next show.
We are headed to, wait, you just told me. Don't say it. Don't. Lane. Oh, Waters. One of my favorite. I remembered it.
Good job. But, it's only your fourth time coming.
It's only. Listen, I don't see these dresses every day, Emily. So yeah. I need a little bit of slack.
We got there a little bit early, so Danny and I had some time to bust out some work at the coffee shop just below where our meetings were. And then we headed upstairs to go to the water shows for W2 and Willoughby. We ended up having a pretty private appointment for this, so we got just one-on-one time with the designers and the reps there, and were able to get an exclusive look at the new dresses, and then had a little bit of downtime before we needed to head to our next show, grabbed a car, and headed up to the Made with Love show. They put on such a great display. I loved their showroom that they set up. Again, more champagne and so many good gowns. We were able to actually sit down with the designer Carla with Made with Love as we went through all of these new collections. A lot of them I weren't able to share, so there's not a whole lot of footage on those. It was me taking a selfie with Carla, the designer. I do have friends in the city, so we met up with our friend Lewis after all of our shows.
Yes.
Look at us!
And I was like, yeah.
We're back. We're back.
How you doing?
We're back. Oh, I'm sorry. We're back, and this is how we're starting, and then we're gonna go watch the Yankees game.
Go Yankees.
Oh, how are we doing?
Go Yankees.
Are we doing well?
They're giving me agita.
Yankees just got a home run. Yankees just got a home run. Let's go.
I don't play games. Let's go.
Headed out for day two. Here's the fit for today. First day was such a whirlwind, so fun. I'll have to sit down and kind of recap everything at the end. But today is day two, and it's actually our final day. I don't have any tomorrow, so today I'm going out to Antonio Gual is the first one, part of the Melange de Blanc show, and then actually going to visit with a potential new designer that I don't carry now, and I'm not going to name them quite yet because I'm not sure what this meeting is going to result in. So that's what's going on today. Melange de Blanc is similar to One Fine Day, where there's multiple designers that are set up in one building, and Fritz is always there, which we love. That's Antonio Gual's dog. He's always at the shows, and you always know it's Bridal Fashion Week when there's photo shoots of brides in the street. And then we headed to the new designer, which, spoiler alert, you can see who it is there. And this was a great opportunity to be able to see a new designer and some really exciting new dresses. So New York Bridal Fashion Week is over, back in the shop, kind of decompressing, taking in everything that we saw. So I wanted to do just like a little recap of everything. The week is such a whirlwind, and I try and do my best to document some of it behind the scenes and kind of from my perspective, but this year was so bam, 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 like right appointments and shows right after another. So it was really hard to do any kind of like recapping in between or during. So I wanted to just sit down and kind of take you through what you saw and kind of what New York Bridal Fashion Week is like as a bridal shop owner. So I own a bridal boutique here in Missoula, Montana, if you are new to my channel and you don't already know that. So I attend New York Bridal Fashion Week every October. It's typically like the first or second week of October, and at this fashion week is bridal market. So that's essentially where all of my designers or potential designers that I'm interested in will show all of their new collections, and you go in and see all of the new designs and then pick which dresses to bring in to my store. This is definitely one of the big perks of having a wedding dress shop, as obviously this is a very fun experience, especially with it being in New York City. But there's a lot of pressure that goes into this, and as fun as it is, it's also pretty stressful for me as the owner to be making these decisions, and it can be really difficult to know kind of what to purchase that's going to perform well in my market, in my store, and kind of be able to know what are things that are my own personal taste and what are things that are like my target market is going to enjoy, and that's going to make us profitable. So there can be a lot of difficult decisions that go into it, but of course it is a very fun and exciting experience too. So this year we started it off with Maddie Lane and Serene Bridal. Those were the first shows that we went to. They are always a part of One Fine Day Bridal Market, which is basically where, rather than just going individually to that designer or like their showroom and having it just be that one designer showing, they are a part of a large collection of designers that are all in one spot, so that you're able to meet up with other designers that might be a part of that bridal market, and it's all in like one building, and they always do a really great job. It's always a really beautiful setup, and it's nice to be able to walk through and kind of see other designers kind of in passing and see what else is going on. And it's a great opportunity if there is anybody else that I'm like considering bringing on or just want to learn more about and not have such a one-on-one like meeting or show set up, to be able to just kind of walk by and see them, kind of see what they're about and see how busy they are, and kind of just the overall feel of that designer. So that is where we saw Maddie Lane and Serene, and of course always so many good options by these two lines. This is always the two designers that I feel like I have the hardest time choosing our selections of new gowns, because there's usually so many and we just don't have the space, and financially it's just not feasible to be able to bring on every single dress that I would love to have in the store. So that was great. Beautiful day. We were kind of on the water in that spot, so really nice views, as you probably saw in the video. And then straight from Maddie Lane and Serene, we went to the water shows. So we went to W2 and Willoughby, and there was some kind of miscommunication on someone's end. I'm not really sure what happened on the time. So we ended up showing up in between the previous time slot and the next time slot for the show. So we ended up actually getting like our own private little showing of the new collection, which worked out, I have no complaints, worked out pretty well. So we were able to see the brand new lines again. Again, loved so many dresses from these lines. So this was really difficult too, as W2 and Willoughby usually, I feel like in the last few years, there's been dresses that I've liked, but they're kind of just like different variations of what we already have, and it's a little bit easier to make decisions. I can kind of narrow things down a little bit more. Something about the new collection with both of these lines, there was a lot of things that we haven't really seen before by these designers, or just a lot of unique styles and things that are filling holes or gaps that we currently have in the store. So another lot of tough decisions with these lines as well, and a lot of dresses that I'm really excited to bring on and share with our Montana brides. After the water show, we had some downtime, did a little bit of work, and then went over to Made with Love, which they do something different kind of every year. My very first year bringing on Made with Love, they weren't showing at Fashion Week, or maybe it was like right before I brought them on, and so I didn't meet with them at Fashion Week. And then last year they did like a big show, like an actual runway show, which if you ever see anything about like regular Fashion Week, you're probably seeing a lot of actual like runway shows. And this does exist during New York Bridal Fashion Week as well, but typically not as a buyer. That's not really something that we experience, as when you're looking at wedding dresses, you want to be able to have the opportunity to learn about the dress as you're seeing it, and be able to see it up close and be able to touch it, feel the fabric, feel the weight of it, and all those kinds of things, to really get a good handle on what that dress is going to be like and how it might perform in our store. So usually it's not like the glamorous runway shows that you might see on social media if you see anything about regular Fashion Week or even Bridal Fashion Week. it's not really the experience that we have. However, last year Made with Love did do a fashion show and it was so fun. It was such a fun experience. But this year they decided to do private appointments. So we went in, everyone has their own kind of go-to rep for that designer for their region that we kind of report to and have communication with throughout the year when new launches are dropped and meeting with during markets and stuff like that. However, when I went in for my private appointment with Made with Love, I actually got to sit down and meet with the actual designer, Carla, of Made with Love. She is an absolute doll. I met her last year. She is just so sweet, chic, smart, and being able to have that sit down one-on-one appointment and conversation with her during Bridal Week this year was such a cool experience. We just drank champagne, spent a lot more money than I really anticipated, but she's just fabulous. The new designs, there's a couple that I'm not allowed to share yet. I'm reinventing already existing styles that I'm really excited about, but all the brand new styles from Made with Love are already live. We're bringing on all of them, so if you have seen any of them online or on social media or on their website or whatever, we are bringing every single one into the store. That's what you can expect to see there, and that was just an overall really fun experience and kind of a unique experience. I feel like overall this year, something about Bridal Market this year just felt so much more like intentional. Maybe that was just on my behalf, as I tend to cram in a lot of like social things when I'm in New York as well. And this year was very focused on just Bridal Market and being as intentional as I can with, you know, growing our store and being able to bring in gowns that are going to really, really perform well, as Velvet Bride has seen an immense growth over the last couple of years. I've only owned the store for it's 3.5 years now, so this was my 4th Bridal Market, and with each passing year we have a lot of growth, which is something that I am so grateful and blessed for, and I want to just keep that going. So I was very intentional going into this Bridal Week, and I feel like I just was like rewarded with these really awesome experiences in each of my shows and each of my meetings. So that was the end of the first day. It was a really long day of appointments and shows, but so great. And then the next day we met with Antonio Gual, which is always so fun. Antonio's dog Fritz is always actually there in person, as well as Antonio. A lot of times the actual designer is not a part of these shows, but when they are smaller and domestic, they are based in New York City. It's really nice to be able to work with these smaller companies like that, and that's something that's kind of just goes along with our brand here at Velvet Bride. I do try and work with designers that are on a smaller scale, a more boutique style, so that I do have those relationships with the designers themselves or a very close contact to the designers, that we're able to communicate effectively and be able to know that they're going to work really well for us in our store, and also provide an experience for our brides that aren't going to be something that they can find very easily elsewhere. So I don't stock any really mass-produced bridal designers, just so that it's a little bit more of an exclusive experience and more of like just an intimate overall wedding dress shopping experience. So that was a really great one, a lot of great styles there. And then ended it meeting with a brand new designer that I am bringing on. I just signed all the paperwork today so I can officially talk about it, but we are going to be bringing on Jenny Yu. This is someone that's kind of been on my radar for a while, but we didn't really have the space to bring on new designers up until recently. And so met with them. Again, they're based in New York, which I absolutely love. I was able to get a good close-up look at not only their new styles, but their best-selling styles, since we are going to be bringing them on brand new. We're going to have a collection of their best sellers as well as their newly released styles that they just launched at Bridal Market. So very excited to bring that collection on. We will have both the Jenny Yu collection as well as the Jenny by Jenny Yu. So super excited to bring those in. It'll be a little bit before we actually get those styles in the store to try on, but that's what's coming. Now when it comes to dresses and trends, I'll do a whole video that will go a little bit more in depth onto trends for what we are going to be seeing in 2025, but just a quick little overview. A lot of satin. We're definitely seeing that very simple Mikado satin, varieties of silk and satin, that is maintaining to be a pretty popular trend. And strapless gowns. This was something that I've kind of seen, it's been trending on the upward trend over the last year, but definitely continuing a lot of strapless, a lot of that modern straight across neckline situations, and a little bit more just conservative necklines in general. For a very long time it was like that V plunge and plunging like way down to the belly button, even for several seasons in a row. ago. And so that's still definitely a trend and still something that we are seeing, but not nearly as much as before, and seeing a little bit more of those modern necklines. Also a huge trend that you've probably already started to see is the basque waist and drop waist. So basque waist is when it kind of comes down to a V in the front. So the waistline comes down a little bit, but more of like a V right into the belly button, a little past the belly button. And then a drop waist where it comes almost down to the hips. So that is something we saw pretty much every designer, every collection has those styles being released in their new collections. So that's something that you can definitely expect to see moving forward. So excited to bring all of these new dresses into the shop and have them actually be available for our Montana brides, or for you if you want to travel to Montana to shop for your wedding dress. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe to get weekly videos on wedding planning tips and advice, and we'll see you next week.